specific piece of the creative process. So like right now I have a project I'm working on where we got the parameters, the composer wrote the song, I mixed the song, we sent it back to the singer, and they want to rearrange the entire song now. And so we're back in this thing where we're like, well, if you rearrange it, we have to remix it. So now our production is now 2-3 months delayed if we do this. And that's sort of like getting back on top of the situation, I think can cause a lot of sort of consternation in the creative process. So I appreciate you being like, hey, here's some suggestions. And from there, my process in general, and I talk about this a lot with artists and people I work with, is what I call an iterative process. So I will take something and I will do it 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and then give myself a little space and come back to it and listen. And generally when I'm working with compositional process with an outside client or whatever, I'll try to write 3, 4 different versions that are in the right direction, but different. And that's sort of what we did. And I wrote 3 or 4 examples, and I said, which of these like feels like the right vibe? And they were all like MIDI based. I worked on them very technically, like, okay, chord progression, this type of sound. And so that's how I like to work. And it's a wonderful way because you end up with all these other things that are also good ideas. So the other tracks are still there, you know, and they might have a place somewhere, and you might listen to them in a year or 2 and go like, oh, this would be so great for this other thing I'm working on or whatever. But I try not to have too much of an emotional connection to what I write, ultimately. I write, and I write a lot, and then I make decisions afterwards, and I evaluate. And from there, with your input, then I choose, okay, we're going to focus on this one. And then I do iterative process on that. I tried different horn parts, different bass parts. I played different basses, and I put together a process to create that song that we heard. That is now the theme song, which is so exciting. So the process for me is I think very sort of structural. It's like if you have to get the project done, you have to put some structures in place. And so I try to hold myself to the same standards that I expect artists that I work with to have. So yeah, that's how it ended up there. And it's one of those things where that process could happen again today with the exact same suggestions, and we would have a completely different theme song. And that's the beauty of art and creativity, because 200 years from now, no one cares. It's that we're doing it now. And that's what I care about, is like, how do we make it to the finish line? We don't like, the process is the most important part, right? But if you don't like continually move towards the finish line, then you're not in the process. You're talking about the process. And so many artists I find talk about the process. They're on their Instagrams and their shit, and like they don't just like put in the time. So like my schedule, I have like 6-hour creative time blocks where I'm not on social media. I'm just sitting working, or sitting practicing, or practicing a bass line for your theme song so I can make sure I can pull it off, right? And so that's the process from my end, and I really hope that it fits in with the next 200 episodes.
Thank you. I'm sure it will. And yeah, actually, I was thinking about that same thing earlier today, of like, and thinking about like what Amy composed, and at the moment of that time, I was again spending a lot of time listening to Tom Waits and watching the TV Justified. And then with the suggestions I sent you, it was very much a time and a place in July and August where I just happened to be binging Chuck, which is not a great TV show, but it just reminded me of how much I loved Cake, and their song Short Skirt Long Jacket, which is an awesome. I was like, this is amazing. And then I was doing some road trips and just happened to listen to the band Traffic again, and to hear the low spark of High Heeled Boys again. And I was like, well, there was a very time and a time and a place where I was listening to both of those simultaneously, that I was like, this is what I'm interested in right now. Had I like, now I may send you something different because I'm not binging Chuck anymore, but I still love Cake. But yeah, so I think that's awesome. Like this theme song is very much, of a time and a place where you and I both talked about what was happening in, August of 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So Ryan and JaNae, thank you so much for taking the time to be on my 200th episode and to, be open and honest about your process and what you're up to. I really appreciate it. For the listeners who are now watching this in 2021, where is the best place they can go to see more of JaNae, buy your album, follow what you're up to, all the good stuff online?
Yeah, so Push Button Future, the debut album by JaNae, is released on Friday, January 8th. You can follow JaNae on Instagram at JaNae Synthpop, NaeSynthpop. And for all other updates or tuning into the email list, it's JaNaemusic.com. JaNaemusic.com. And the next Saturday, if you like what you hear, when you check it out on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all of the platforms, the next Saturday, we're launching an episodic series called Saturday Orbital Ice Cream, and that is starting on Saturday, January 9th. And so you'll be able to find that if you find my website, JaNaemusic.com. We'll have the link there, the transportational spaceship to get to the YouTube live stream. We'd love to see everyone there.
Love it, love it. Thank you so much. And I will make sure I put all of those links in the show notes so people can click right through and be part of the Saturday launch. I love it. So again,
awesome.
Ryan, JaNae, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Yuri, for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So fun.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Advance Your Art with Yuri Cataldo. If you like this episode, please remember to give us a 5-star rating, like, and share with a friend. Our theme music is written and mixed by Chicago-based composer Ryan Black of Black Bones Collaborative. To listen to the full catalog of our episodes, go to advanceyourart.com. To see what I'm working on or book a time with me or buy a copy of my book, Be Left Behind, go to yuricataldo.com. Thank you so much and have a great day.